All right, so I wanted to show you in the Conscious Care card box, there is a specific category for you called the Caregiver Kindness category. Now, the Caregiver Kindness category is a place where we can really invite the caregiver to remember to care for themselves. What you're doing as a parent, and as a parent who is awake and trying really hard, what you're doing is difficult and amazingly commendable, but also you deserve tender care. And when I say that, I'm imagining that the first thing that you're thinking is, oh, right, I have no time. I have no time. What am I gonna do? Go get a massage? Are you kidding me? Do you live my life? And so I wanna rethink about self-care as a parent, as a caregiver. So your plate is full, and your plate is full and focused on your child. And that is great, and that is what your job is to focus on your child. But I'm also here to remind you that you cannot sustain focusing 100% of your energy on your child all the time. That is not sustainable, nor is it all that healthy for your well-being. You really need a permission and time to disconnect and unhook from how's my kid doing, how am I doing a good job as a parent, and time to turn in and tune in to who you are separate from your caregiver identity, and how is your internal landscape? How is it inside of you? And so when I say self-care, I'm not talking about bubble baths and bonbons. I'm more talking about what is your relationship to yourself? What is your relationship to your struggles, to your feelings, to your emotional landscape inside? And if it is rough in there, right? Like if you have a lot of self-criticism, if you have a lot of, if I don't do it perfect, I'm not worthy kind of equations going on, that's going to show up in your availability for your child. So I'm encouraging you to care for yourself in a way that is tender and compassionate, because that's going to be the most replenishing for you and the healthiest for your child. And so the Caregiver Kindness category really scripts that out for you. You might be listening to this going, okay, what, how, right? And so there are journal entries, there are ways and perspectives and ways to think about how do I create a healthy relationship with my inner world? How do I respond when I screw up, and what kind of things I can journal about, or ways that I can tend to myself so that I can really refresh. And so in all these different categories, and the self-soothing for caregivers and the co-regulation skills, each card explicitly maps out what you should do, but it also really invites you to see how your inner relationship to your feelings shows up. And the better and more warm and wholesome your interactions with yourself are, the more available and more warm and tender you'll be for your child. And so as that inner landscape changes, your parenting is going to change. And you'll realize it's not that you're not going to screw up, but maybe you're going to react to that screw up in a different way. Maybe it's not going to be the end of the world. Maybe you're going to tell yourself, wow, you know what? I screwed up, but I am doing a good job. I am not screwing my kid up permanently. I did that one thing, it was 20 minutes, but let's think about the rest of the day. In the spectrum of how many hours we spent together, how many minutes was that snarky response or that like reaction or irritability? Okay, it was 2 minutes. And was that really as damaging? I can turn to my child and say, wait a second, I'd love to rewind. That wasn't my better parent that came out. I think I might be hungry, or I think I might be tired, or I definitely had too much coffee, or whatever it is, not in an excuse, but in a, wow, the way I react when I'm tired is not somebody I'm proud of. And maybe can you relate to that? Or can you, like in a way that it bridges and makes that repair, as opposed to shames you, and then you're even more separated from your tenderness inside. So the caregiver category really asks you, what is your relationship to your internal dialogue, but how can you lean into that a little bit more? And you might be like, I don't know, I don't have any idea. Okay, great. Then just literally go through the script and start there. But you can find us in the community. So at the end of every tab, there's the website. You obviously know the website because you purchased the cards through the website. But our founders, so the people that have already purchased, we have a large group of people who have already purchased, and they're our founding members of the Conscious Care Card community. And so that is a community of people who are trying out the decks and who are doing the work with the kids, and they're seeing the changes. And so yes, the research around the cards is impeccable, but the drastic changes is the tremendous impact that you're making. And so this is a community where you can celebrate those, like, wow, I just did this card and it was the first time my child leaned into me and really talked about more than just anger as a feeling that they have available to them. Or, the celebrations you have with your daughter when you're doing the shield, say no activity, and how it really, you saw the empowered feeling and the fact that she really knows she's worthy of saying no. So celebrating that with people who actually get it because they're doing these activities together with you. And so that's the impact and the intention behind this particular category.